How you feeling this morning, Ty?
I feel better now. Woke up
Pretty rough.
pretty stiff.
So we're recording this on a Monday. We filmed our second Saturday Suffering yesterday. So on Sunday. You're listening to this after the episode's been released, so you probably have already seen it. But in real time, we're just now recovering from the mayhem that was Saturday Suffering Part 2. Yeah, I woke up, my Whoop recovery was in the red for the first time in I don't know how long time. And
nice. I stay in that red.
Yeah, usually I'm yellow, occasionally I'll get in the green, but yeah, it's never usually red. My muscles are all sore. My hips, my shoulders, my traps, my calves, the front, my shins are sore.
Yep.
Yeah, literally my forearms, obviously a little bit. If you haven't watched the video, we did a lot of farmer carries. We did some running. We did some bleachers. Go watch the video. It's live up on our YouTube channel. But it proved what we talked about. I guess it's been a couple months ago now. The importance of loaded carries and just how good they are for you. It proved. I mean, literally everything is sore. It's a full body, and that's all we did. It wasn't. There were no squats. There were no lunges. It was just farmer carries, and my butt's sore. My traps, everything's sore, and obviously. My strain, I think my strain was like a 16, something like that.
I got in the 16s.
By the end of the day.
That was the highest strain that I'd gotten. And, we did run a mile at the end of it. So, again, it was –
that crushed me too.
What it was, again, if you didn't watch it, it was a mile, farmer's carries. Ben and I both used 50-pound dumbbells, so one in each hand. And then the other guy, Chris, used 40s. He's a little bit smaller than us. And then in between each lap, we would do a stadium where we would carry a 20-pound med ball, like loaded in front of us. But it was it's crazy because my strain was so high. And the run, I was moving, but I think it was already at like a 13 or a 14 before we even started the mile run, which we weren't moving super fast.
No, it was a walk. The first mile of the farmer care was a walk.
It was a walk, but like – chest was on fire, like everything was on fire. And back to your point, when you talked about loaded carries, and I'd always kind of done it just kind of inherently, like through the workouts and stuff that I would do training for football and even after, but I didn't realize necessarily the importance of it, how much, because like even core, right? Like my lower back's tight, like the engagement, the full body engagement that the loaded carries bring, it honestly, it shocked me. And it was, gosh, man, it was way harder. Yeah. We do a bunch of farmers carries like over the last 2 years that I've been doing CrossFit, and but we'll do like the longest we'll do is 400 meters, so one lap, and we did literally 4 times that. Yeah. And holy smokes, like literally everything.
Yeah, and I think our total time was around that 27, 28-minute mark for that part.
For that, yeah.
So if you want a great 30-minute workout, grab a couple of dumbbells. They don't have to be super heavy. 50 pounds normally is not crazy
50,
heavy.
Yeah, so literally 50 pounds, I thought, I'll be able to probably do a lap. Yeah. And you were the only one that did a full lap without setting them down.
That was a great lesson, and ego will get you hurt. That's a side note, but don't let your ego take over because it hurt me later.
Just Will Ferrell. Milk was a bad call. I immediately regret this decision.
Yeah, I made it through because there was a penalty if you put the dumbbells down. There was a 10 push-up penalty every time you put them down. So that first lap, I made it all the way through without setting them down, which again sounds cool, but
toasted for the next 3
and 4. I paid for it because I stopped multiple times on 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But yeah, to your point, just grab a couple of light dumbbells and walk a mile. You don't have to do the stadiums if you don't want, but just go walk a mile with dumbbells. It's crazy.
You know what's interesting, and maybe this is a little premature in the conversation because maybe you're going to ask some questions, but one thing that's really interesting that I've learned through the 2 Saturday Sufferings that we've done is both of them, I came in with some sort of strategy and I'm going to figure it out. Like this one in particular, it was like, all right, I'm going to go 200 meters. And regardless of if I'm tired or not, I'm going to set them down just to give my forearms a break. And I'm going to kind of pace myself so that I don't burn out too fast. And what I've learned, and then even the board pushes on the first one, what I've learned is, listen, effort and mental fortitude trumps strategy every single time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you could come in with the perfect strategy, but if you can't push through that pain, if you can't push through that time, that like, all I want to do is put this down, because those third and fourth laps carrying them, that was the difference, right? It was like you were leading for the first one, and then I caught up, and then Chris was way, way back, and then on the last lap, then he passes us.
Well, we know why he passed us.
We know now. We know now. But regardless, right? It ultimately comes down to who can manage the pain, think clearly, and push through.
Well, what is Mike Tyson famous for saying? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched. Yeah. No, you're exactly right. I was the same way. I said, all right, I'm going to drop it at 200 meters in that first lap right out the gate. I said, no, I'm going to keep going, because they dropped it, so I'm going to keep going.
Yeah, I'm going to gain some ground on them.
And that, like you said, everybody's got a plan, but when the bullets are flying, that plan goes out the window, which is good and bad. It probably would have benefited me to put them down at that 200-meter mark. Yeah, because it would have saved my grip for later laps. But at the same time, it's like, well, I'm just gonna grit through it. So there's a balance there, right? Yeah. There's a flow of sticking to the plan to the point where it guides you. Well,
but that's I think you said it at the beginning, like, it's ego, right? It's like, hey, I'm gonna grit through it no matter what. Where you could also just say, okay, hey, look. Like, yes, I'm going to push through it, but at some point, now I just can't be stupid. Right. It's like the guys that go in and, like, max out every time they work out. It's like, okay, bro, like, let's create a plan that, there's some strategy there. But again, in these types of scenarios, in these types of, we'll call it competition, right? Because there's an award on the line. Is what it comes down to is, look, if you have a strategy, can you execute it? Because whatever strategy you have, it's going to be harder than what you think it is when you get into it. Or two, can you just grit it out? Like, there was multiple times, stadiums, and specifically the run, but like the farmers carries too, it really was like, okay, all I want to do is just like quit. Like, figure out, justify some way for me to take a break. Like, you know what? It's okay. And I'm thinking, what are they going to think of me if I just don't finish? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's all wrestling in my head. Like, I wanted to quit multiple times. And one thing that I will say that I think I missed for a long time was, and even when and I'm going to put this out there, even when I was playing my last couple of years, I would justify, like, taking it easy. Oh, I got to recover. I got to be fresh. Or I got to be this. I got to be that. Maybe I don't have many regrets, but I look back and I wish that there's times that I pushed through. And I feel like over the last year, I'm starting to build that skill back up where it's like, don't listen to your brain telling you to stop. We're both getting that text there. Complaining or rubbing something in our face. But it's a skill that is not inherent in us. Like, we are all wired to want to find the easiest way. We're all wired to want to, okay, hey, look, this is getting hard. I'm going to stop. It is a skill that has to be fed. It has to be nurtured. It has to be trained to push through that threshold of I want to quit, to then get to a point where you're actually seeing benefits come from it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting to hear you talk about what was going through your head, because that was all going through my head.
Yeah.
But watching, I didn't know that was going through your head. Right. I'm just watching you, never taking a breath, getting after it, keep going. So I think at times we feel like, oh, we're the only ones struggling here.
Yeah.
And because I don't know what you're thinking until Neuralink comes online and I can be connected through your brain.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah,
so
we've got at least 6 to 8 months until that happens.
So from an outside looking in, I'm like, I'm the only one sucking wind here. Like, I'm the only one suffering right now.
Right.
I know, and really the only reason I kept going was that thought that, well, those guys are going, so why can't I keep going? Yeah. So it was good. It was that accountability.
Yeah.
But you also forget, hey, they're suffering too.
100%. And look, for those of you that, maybe have listened to the show from the beginning and how we've transitioned a little bit really over the last 9 months or so into this, into the schedule and model that we're doing, right? We do a guest show, we do a physical fitness, and then we do some sort of like roundtable mental type of show. Listen, you may think that, all right, there's a bunch of meatheads that want to talk about working out. Like, that has nothing to do with why we chose these topics. Right? This is the prime example. These Saturday sufferings, it is not about the physical. I mean, it's expressed through the physical.
Right. It's just a simple way to express what you're about to say.
But to your point is listen, like, there's mental fortitude that can help take us to places that we are created, that we are able to go, that our mind prohibits us from really getting to. And think about, we're going through struggle at work, and we're in our head and we're saying, I'm the only one that struggles. Like, this dude just makes it look easy and he doesn't struggle and he doesn't do this. BS, man. He's thinking the same thoughts. But guess what? He just has that mental toughness that allows him to continue when he gets a no. I'm going to push through the next one. I'm going to keep going. I'm just not going to lay down and quit. Like, you and I had the same thoughts in our head. And I guarantee you, Chris, if Chris was here, he would say the same thing. Is the entire time, all we wanted to do was quit. I mean, there's benefits of creating this community, right? That now, okay, for this example, there's 3 of us that we're going through this together, and we push each other. We're talking trash. We're getting onto each other. Like, there's just natural inherent competition between all of us. Like, that helps us get to those things. But also, after the fact, talking through what we were going through mentally, like, to encourage each other, like, yes, like, literally on my 3rd lap of the mile, on the first turn, I'm literally thinking, okay, I'm gonna walk, or I'm gonna just kind of go to a cruise. I'm gonna catch my breath. I'm gonna recover because I'm like, 30 yards in front of these guys. I should be fine, and then I'm gonna sprint at the end. And then I'm like, no, hell no, don't let up. Just push the pedal down until you can't. Mm-hmm. And I had it in me, and I still could. Now, was it a slower time? Like, my 3rd lap was the slowest? Yeah, it was. But guess what? I was pushing it as hard as I could at that time because I knew that y'all were coming right up behind me. But again, there's no way that you could have been watching me and known that was going through my head.
Right.
All I wanted to do was just shut it down.
Yeah, no idea. I mean, I knew. Obviously, I know you're suffering and you're sucking, but I don't realize to the extent. I didn't know you had all the same thoughts bouncing in your head of, this sucks. Like, I got to stop. I got to quit. Mm-hmm. Right? You just forget about that. You're so locked into what you're thinking.
And I think people that, like, and I'm not gonna pretend to be a psychologist, and I'm not going to pretend to know these, but a lot of times, I know, I'll speak for me, when I'm struggling maybe with like depressive thoughts and there's things that, like, maybe anxiety that's like kind of creeping into my life, it's times where I really feel like, hey, I'm alone and I'm the only one feeling these things. And then you feel those things, and then you start to believe those things. You start to believe that, hey, I'm no good, or hey, I'm not good enough, or hey, I'm not fulfilling the expectations that I think everybody else has on me. And those are those things that, like, these Saturday sufferings really just kind of bring out inherently, but just like very easily. This is a way to just show this representation of what life is like. Mm-hmm. Because there's times that, like, hey, I'm struggling in my marriage, and I feel like I'm the only one. Like, I feel so alone. And you know what? Maybe I'm not good enough. I've let her down. I've wasted this, or, I've let him down, and I'm not good enough. And someone that he works with is prettier or better, whatever it is that you're struggling with. And we feel like we're alone, and we feel like, hey, I'm going through this battle by myself. And you know what? Maybe it is right. Maybe they are better off without me. Maybe I am this. And that's honestly, like, that is what I hope that we can encourage those people that are going through this. Listen, everybody deals with some form of that. some form of questioning your own validity, questioning your own worth, questioning your own identity, questioning your own work ethic. The difference is you cannot succumb to it, because those are the individuals that then, when you succumb to believing all those things, and then now you lower your expectations for yourself, that's when you fail. Mm-hmm. And again, had I quit and believed you're not good enough, okay, then I wouldn't have finished. And it literally would have been a failure. Just you can't give in to these negative thoughts, these self-deprecating thoughts, all these things that like all of us struggle with, right? That negative self-talk in your head. And if you can just say, hold on, let me recognize that that's a third person in my head talking to me, and their only job is to tell me I'm not good enough. I'm not going to believe you. I'm going to use it just like I used Chris talking crap, you talking crap, me talking crap to you guys.
I don't talk crap. I just speak truth.
I just tell you when you're not good enough, and you just believe me.
Only truth escapes these lips.
But it's when you hear that negative talk, you have the ability, and you have the strength, and you have the control to be able to shut that voice up.
Yeah.
And again, these may sound like meathead conversations, but this is a reflection of real life every day. And all we're trying to do is just replicate a scenario where we can use those and just talk about it.
Yeah, highlighted the importance of for me, the importance of other people. You know, we talked about last week the importance of other people, but it was just another notch in the belt of how important it is to have other people around you and surrounding you. Because again, had I tried to go out there and do that workout on my own, it would have taken 2 times as long.
Yep.
I would have rested a lot more. I would have put it down a lot more. But just knowing that you two were in there with me and having that little push and that encouragement, even though you weren't saying anything, you never once verbally encouraged me along the way. You were doing your own thing, right? But just knowing you were going through it with me, that would make all the difference in the world.
Yeah. The other thing, too, about working out with people, on the other side of what I just said, right? Don't listen to that like you're not good enough, you're not this. But on the other side, we can also get in our head and think that, hey, my crap don't stink, right? Like, I'm the bee's knees.
Yeah.
You know, like, because when you're at home and you don't have anything to gauge it off of, you're like, bro, I'm crushing it.
Right.
You know, I'm doing my workout by myself. I'm consistent. But like we were talking about before the show, it's like sometimes, you know,
you need a camera.
I'm scrolling Instagram in between each set, and I may not be hitting, you know, the numbers that I want to, or, hey, I'm in the office and I'm, you know, getting on social media instead of doing whatever task we have at hand. Like, when you're by yourself and there's not this like level of competition around you to gauge where you're at, sometimes you can start lying to yourself, telling you, hey, you're doing plenty. You're doing fine. And then you cut yourself short there as well. Right. So it's both sides of it. And that's why I think community is so important.
Yeah. I mean, I work out by myself every morning, and I know for a fact, and these Saturday sufferings prove it to me, I know for a fact I don't push myself as hard as I would if I had other people. For me, it's the inconvenience of going to a gym, you know, driving somewhere. It's just more convenient with my current lifestyle, my current schedule, to do it at my house by myself. Yeah. And so I have to be okay with the trade-off of knowing, I'm going to push myself, and I like to think I push myself further than some people would, but at the same time, the trade-off is it's not as much as if I had that community around me.
And it's hard to, because if you don't have a gauge, you don't have a gauge. That's one thing that I'll say, and again, I know I'm that CrossFit bro, but one thing that I do think that's really cool is that there are so many workouts that there's a scale out there, right? There's something to gauge it off of, because it's either timed, it's for reps, you know, total calories, whatever it is that you can gauge where you stack up. And so you could say, okay, hey, whatever the workout of the day is, okay, it's 10 rounds for time. Okay, I know that if I hit 37 minutes, I'm in the 50th percentile, or I'm in the 15th percent, whatever it is. That's what I think is really cool, because there's a lot of standardized workouts that say, okay, I can at least gauge myself, and I've got competition. Even if I do it at home by myself, there's a workout that I can say, all right, I kind of know where I stand against the population.
Yeah, and the other thing is I've been working out for so long, and I know what I'm doing. That's helpful. That allows me. I've I've put in the reps for no pun intended over the years to be able to earn. I say earn to be able to do it on my own.
Yeah.
If you're somebody brand new to training, brand new to working out, I could not discourage you anymore from working out by yourself. Go find a community. Again, it doesn't have to be CrossFit. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. Just go find, maybe find, I see there's people in my neighborhood, literally every morning, there's these two ladies that just walk around our neighborhood.
Yep.
And they just chat and they walk.
Yep.
Find somebody like that. Find a friend that'll wake up early with you. It doesn't have to be anything
those
intense.
ladies, how many times do you think that one is like, no, and it's like, no, let's go, or it's like, hey, I don't want to let them down, so, and I don't feel like it today, but I'm gonna go meet my girlfriend.
I've never spoken to them. I guarantee you that goes on weekly.
Yeah.
Which is the only reason I'm going is because I know Stacy's gonna be there.
Yeah.
Or I don't feel like it today, but she's expecting me to be there, so I'm gonna show up. Or no, I can't wait to go because I know Stacy's gonna be there. There's some, I'm sure those elements. They're showing up because they're counting on each other.
Yeah.
And that's the importance of that community and that group and that accountability. Again, it doesn't have to be a full class of group fitness or CrossFit or whatever. It can just be one other person.
That's right.
But just finding somebody else, if you're brand new to this, I would discourage you from trying to do it alone.
Yeah.
It's just like we talked about last week. You can't do anything alone, especially physical training.
Yeah.
Unless you've got, but again, I know that in a weird way, I know that, what keeps me going is knowing that you're up early. So no, we're not working out together, but I know that you're getting after it.
Yeah.
And I know that if I want to play with my son in the backyard, I better be in good shape. So there's little things that keep me and hold me accountable. It's not just me and my grit and my effort.
Yeah, and the other thing too is again, there's tools out there.
Yeah.
Technology, although I'm sometimes a hater on it and I like, oh man, we need to go back to some old school. But at the same time, there's some really cool things like Whoop, right? You create a group and hey, now you get weekly champions and you're striving for recovery, you're striving for strain, striving for sleep performance. And that's a really cool tool. So I do it with a group at my CrossFit gym, and then also at work, right? There's a group of us that do that. I haven't been a champion in any of them in a long time in any category, but regardless, it's still something that I follow, right? Yeah. And it's like I gauge, how I do during the week based off of, these guys are getting after it too.
Yeah. Like
it pushes me. So there's tools out there. Fitbit, I'm sure Apple Watch, you could create these little communities, these, these web-based, or I don't know what the term is, whatever, but like these groups, these communities, these virtual communities, that was what I was thinking, these virtual communities that now, okay, I can compete against them without having to actually compete against them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, and even the sleep number bed,
yeah,
it can track. My wife and I have competitions with our recovery.
Yeah.
She crushes me all the time in her sleep performance. Yeah. So even the sleep number bed is not,
what's
not
the
physical.
Deal? And I know you're an early,
I think it's all about sleep time, or mostly about sleep time.
Okay.
I think they, well, obviously in quality. Like I wake up to go to the restroom just about every night. I drink so much dang water during the day. She never wakes up. Yeah. So that helps. But the other thing is total time. She gets, 8 hours plus every night. I do not.
Yeah. See, and that Tiffany's the same way. Is like she literally, because we put the kids down and she's usually asleep by like 8:30.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wish that I could like get into bed and like turn off and go to sleep right then.
See, I don't go to bed super late. It's usually 9:30, but I'm just up.
Yeah.
At 4:35 every morning. So that's what hurts me. But yeah, that's just another way to gauge. It doesn't gauge physical training, but it gauges your recovery, which is, we're finding out more. I feel like the last 5 years, it's like everybody woke up from the coma and realized how important sleep really is. Yeah. For the longest time it was sleep when you're dead, there's only 24 hours, you got to max it out, right? No days off. Now it's like, people are realizing, no, the better sleep I get, the more effort I'm going to be able to put out there. Day. So anyway, I think the take home message, the eye opening from yesterday again, and it was a good reminder. That's why we're going to keep doing these routinely, is the importance of people and that push that you get from others. And again, if you're just starting out on a fitness journey, or if you haven't been doing it very long, finding it doesn't have to be a big community, but finding one or two other people you can hold yourself accountable with makes all the difference in the world.
That's right.
It just keeps you pushing even further.
Yeah.
So hopefully you guys can do that today, or, next time or if you're starting on this fitness journey, find somebody that can hold you accountable. So anyway, hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the video. We touched on a little bit. There's some controversy in the video. We actually didn't claim a winner, believe it or not, because of, and that was a good leadership lesson, by the way, of understanding the standards and then having all the details figured out, which in this case would have been having a timer.
A dedicated, and not a 5-year-old.
Right. Yeah. Not a 5-year-old, and not a guy who's trying to film us.
Work 3 different cameras all at the same time.
Exactly. So there were some good little leadership lessons, and something we'll fix next time. But anyway, go check out that video. It's live up on our YouTube channel, One Shot Podcast YouTube channel. We're also on Instagram at one.shot.pod. As always, the best, easiest, fastest way this thing will grow is by you guys sharing. And if you can text it to a friend, text it to your accountability partner. Somebody you're trying to start this fitness journey with, text this episode to a friend and say, hey, let's go. Let's get after it tomorrow.
That's right.
Let's go for a walk. Let's go for a run. Let's go for, let's go lift together. Whatever it is. Again, it's not about being a meathead and the physical part. It's about the mental part. It's about how it translates to every aspect of your life. So get out there and find you a friend. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Have a great rest of your Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow.